is another fresh edition of your breakfast show on Leadership Television inside Nigeria. Today is Tuesday, January 27th, 2025. And of course, my name is Winifred Weber, your host on the program. This is newspaper review segment. And of course, we have Leading the Pack Leadership, Nigeria's most influential newspaper. We'll lead with leadership's leading story today, Tuesday. Yusuf's deputy faces tough situation over refusal to defect, coming from ex-deputy governor of the state. Yusuf's deputy faces tough situation over refusal to defect, ex-deputy governor. And the Kano state governor says, my joining APC is for stability, progress of our state. Ganduje promises Yusuf automatic ticket. 5 Kano commissioners resign. Of course, we need to take some excerpts from that leading story on Leadership newspaper today. And of course, the Nation newspaper is also leading with that story. But let's go to page 4 of the paper and take some excerpts. As Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf formalized his defection to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC yesterday, his deputy Aminu Abdulsalam Gwazo has been thrust into a complex political situation following his refusal to follow his principal to the ruling party at the center. According to the immediate past deputy governor of Niger State, Ahmed Mohamed Keso, Gwazo would have to navigate a precarious political terrain which could culminate in his impeachment. Keso, in an exclusive interview with Leadership, said that while the governor and his deputy might attempt to manage their relationship maturely, other political actors will likely come between them. Gwazo declined to join Yusuf, who defected from the New Nigerian People's Party (NNPP) to the APC yesterday. The governor moved to the ruling party alongside 22 state lawmakers, 8 federal legislators, 44 local government chairmen, and 484 councillors. The 22 members of the Kano State House of Assembly during Monday's plenary formally announced their defection to the ruling APC. Previously, the House had 24 NNPP members and 14 APC members. 2 NNPP lawmakers died recently. Out of the 24 NNPP members, 22 defected with the governor to the APC, raising the number of APC members in the assembly to 36, leaving 2 vacant seats and 2 NNPP members. Yusuf and Gwazo enjoyed a political partnership. We saw the governor retain Gwazo as his running mate in the 2019 election they contested under the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and the 2023 election which they won under the NNPP platform. Before then, Gwazo served as Commissioner for State Affairs from 2011 to 2015 under then Governor Rabi Kakaso. Earlier, he was chairman of Gwazo local government area in 1996 and again from 1999 to 2003 under the People's Democratic Party (PDP), while Rabi Kakaso was governor of the state. The deputy governor is a staunch member of the Kwakwasiya political movement. We just take some paragraphs, some excerpts from the leading story on today's Leadership, which is also a trendy story in the nation's polity and as also captured by another national newspaper, The Nation. And the leading story says Yusuf's deputy faces tough situation over refusal to defect. We move ahead to other stories, gracing the cover of Leadership. Kumewali village head bandits demanding 250 million naira, 20 motorcycles to release abductees. This story continues on page 4 of Leadership. Kumewali village head bandits demanding 250 million naira, 20 motorcycles to release the over 100 abductees. Local airlines battle sharp revenue decline after peak season boom. Legal technical reasons stall ex-minister Alice Madueke's corruption trial. Legal technical reasons stall ex-minister Alice Madueke's corruption trial in London. Adeleke, illegal occupation of Osun councils must stop. Fagbemi gets calls not to review ICPC's fraud charges against Ozekome. And on the business boss, we have a story that's been trending. It's also a leading story in some of the national papers we have on our lineup this morning. Military to court-martial officers over alleged coup plot. A leading story in The Nation today. Defense headquarters says military officers involved in the alleged plot to overthrow President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be formally arraigned before a military court following the conclusion of the investigation. The defense headquarters, however, did not provide a fixed date for the arraignment of the indicted officers. Leadership recalls that the defense headquarters in October 2025 confirmed the arrest of 16 officials for acts of indiscipline and breaches of service regulations. This followed reports of a botched military coup attempt and the subsequent cancellation of Nigeria's Independence Day celebration. A statement by the Director Defense Information, Major General Samaila Uba, on Monday said investigations into the matter had been concluded and the report forwarded to the appropriate superior authority in line with extant regulations. Another second leading story in the nation, that is Nigeria Today. Military to court-martial officials over alleged coup plot. We are going to be seeing much of that in other papers we are going to be reviewing on this segment of the show. Atop the mindset of leadership award a call to more service coming from First Lady Oluremi Tinubu. The management of leadership group limited formally presented award letter during a courtesy visit to Senator Oluremi Tinubu yesterday, and in response she said the award is a call to service and that there's still more for her to do. With this, I'm fired up for the year, she said, noting that she was focused on serving ordinary people and not on chasing awards. Excerpts from the leading story leadership conference award ceremony coming up later this month, in the month of February. And the leadership person of the year award is no other person than the Senator Oluremi Tinubu, First Lady of Nigeria. From that story, we move to page 3 of leadership, where we have our stand. Our stand is on Kumi Wali attack and the cost of official denial. Kumi Wali attack and the cost of official denial. And of course, leadership has been on the story, trending, developing story since Kumi Wali attack, and today's editorial is on that incident. Kumi Wali attack and the cost of official denial. Today's stand in leadership. And that takes us to the back page of leadership, where we have Tuesday column with Abdul Rauf Aliyu. He's writing on Davos 2026, the return of geopolitical realism. Davos 2026, the return of geopolitical realism. Tuesday column with Abdul Rauf Aliyu, who takes some quotes from that. The world assembled at Davos was no longer guided by the confidence that markets alone could discipline politics or interdependence. For Nigeria, the challenge is strategic. Food, energy, and technology must be treated as pillars of sovereignty, not sectors of convenience. Quote from today's column, Davos 2026, the return of geopolitical realism. Tuesday column with Abdul Rauf Aliyu. Before we leave the back page, let's visit Ghana Must Go. El-Rufai's wife says, I didn't plan for a polygamous marriage. And of course, Ghana Must Go replied, men are licensed. What about women? It's on that note, that statement is chauvinistic. It's on that note we conclude today's review of leadership newspaper. Don't forget to visit social media handles, follow us on social media handles, and visit the website www.leadership.ng for more stories. We move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard says, cool, 16 indicted officers to face court-martial. Defense headquarters says panel will ensure fairness, due process. Kicker to that leading story. Cool, 16 indicted officers to face court-martial. Defense headquarters. 15 million Nigerians use hard drugs, coming from the NDLEA chief executive, Marwa. My defection is an interest of Kano Governor Yusuf, also leading story on today's leadership. Gome Abdul 26 in Zamfara community said shops ablaze. Tension in Ondo community as Gome Abdul proprietors shoot 3. 13% derivation. Federal government plus plot coordinates for new disputed oil fields. Osun local government tenure elongation illegal, undemocratic, coming from the governor at Deleke. And in sports, Super Eagles NSC confirms contract extension talks with Chelsea. meets with NFF Tuesday or Wednesday. Super Eagles, NSC confirms that Nigerian Sports Commission confirms contract extension talks with Shell. Meets with NFF Tuesday or Wednesday. We move to the masthead of Vanguard. CBN upgrades OPay money point orders to national licenses. UK property scandal. AGF takes over ICPC's case against Ozekome. 2027 Tinubu's running mate. APC dismisses speculations over Shettiman's replacement. When bulldozers rumbled in Makoko, claim of 100-meter demolition from power line and excuse coming from residents in response to the demolition that is taking place recently in Lagos State, and this time it was at Makoko. Claim of 100-meter demolition from power line and excuse coming from residents. And on that note, we conclude review of Vanguard newspaper this Tuesday. For more, log into the website of Vanguard. We move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup, and that is The Punch. The Punch says military investigation ends. Defense headquarters moves to arraign alleged coup plotters. Military investigation ends. Defense headquarters moves to arraign alleged coup plotters. Military finally confirms plot to overthrow Tinubu government. Inside the plot to breach presidential villa security. Defense headquarters awaits presidential go-ahead for military tribunal. These are kickers to the leading story on the Punch newspaper this Tuesday on the alleged coup plot. Deadly winter storm hits US, 17 kid flights grounded. We have the pictures of even cars and people, streets submerged in snow. Deadly winter storm hits US, 17 key flights grounded. 2027, Gandhi assures Yusuf of APC ticket after defection. NDLEA arrests 336, destroys 207,000 kg cannabis in Ondo. Local government power tussle, Oshun APC kicks as a delicate slams Oyetola. And beside the masthead of the Punch, Alafin showing absent as Makinde kicks off Oyo 50th anniversary. Atop the masthead of the Punch, presidential panel recommends freeze on 1 trillion naira rice imports. Strike court decides today as FCT workers demand Wike's removal. Over 400,000 just for 50,000 police jobs, and that story continues on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. For more, log into the website of the Punch, www.punchng.com. From Punch, we'll move ahead to the next paper we have on our lineup this Tuesday, and that is This Day. This Day newspaper says, finally, military confirms attempted coup, identifies 16 to be court-martialed. Finally, military confirms attempted coup, identifies 16 to be court-martialed. Says trial will ensure full accountability, adherence to principles of fairness, due process. Declares actions aimed at maintaining military's integrity, operational effectiveness. Still of This Day newspaper, APC to Musawa orders, avoid stoking needless speculations, focus on your duty. Of course, the Minister of Creative Industry did say that there was no attempt to replace the VP, Kashim Shettima. And in response to that, APC says, avoid stoking needless speculations. Focus on your duty. Says alleged possible replacement of Shettima as Tinubu's running mate in 2027. Speculative. Perhaps we could take some excerpts from that leading story on This Day newspaper. It says the All Progressives Congress APC yesterday warned Minister of Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, other senior government and party officials to stop fueling needless speculations but focus on their primary duty of diligent service to the government and the party. APC also dismissed growing media reports about possible replacement of Vice President Kashim Shettima as running mate in 2027. The story continues on page 8 of This Day newspaper. APC to Musawa orders, avoid stoking needless speculations, focus on your duty. Says alleged possible replacement of Shettima as Tinubu's running mate in 2027, speculative. Atop that news, APC, and that story is on page 19 of this day. Also a leading story, the main cover story on leadership this Tuesday. Yusuf, 31 lawmakers, 44 local government chairs, with many wearing Kokosia caps. Atop the masthead of this day, Lagos Revenue Service activates power of substitution to boost tax recovery. New tax law permits authorities to collect money from third parties who hold funds for tax defaulters, puts obligation on banks and other financial institutions, employers, tenants, debtors, or customers of the taxpayer, agents, any person owing money to taxpayer, others. NIPIC begins stakeholder engagement, Miss Adedeji, or that, and that those are the kickers to the leading story atop the masthead of this day newspaper this Tuesday. Lagos Revenue Service activates power of substitution to boost tax recovery. It's on that note that we could conclude review of front headline stories on this day newspaper this Tuesday. For more, log into the website of this day. We move to the next paper we have on our lineup this Tuesday, and that is the Daily Times. Daily Times also has same leading story on alleged coup as its main cover. It says 4 months after military admits coup plots against Tinubu government. Disputes over oil gas wells among states to be resolved amicably. ROMAFC. PSA received over 400,000 applications for 50,000 police vacancy in 2 weeks. PSC received over 400,000 applications for 50,000 police vacancy in 2 weeks. Atop the masthead of the Daily Times, 2027 running mate, APC dismisses speculations on VP Shettiman's replacement. Reforms drive Nigeria's reserves above $46 billion. And that concludes review of front headline story on the Daily Times. For more, log into www.dailytimesng.com. From Daily Times, we move to the next paper we have on our lineup this Tuesday, and incidentally, it's also the last paper for review, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian, leading with different story entirely. Residents on the brink as rent spike above yearly income in major cities. Story runs on page 6 of The Guardian. Residents on the brink as rent spike above yearly income in major cities. There's an illustration beneath that leading story on today's The Guardian. It says inflation at 15.15%, but prices remain sticky. Incomes have stagnated, rising more slowly than rents. Households struggle to maintain a balance between food, Medicare, education. Agency fees have contributed to raising rents. Rents in many cities have gone up by at least 100%. Illustration beneath the leading story on today's The Guardian newspaper. Nigeria's housing deficit, estimated at nearly 28 million units, continues to widen. Oil spill worsens in Ogoni 1 month after federal government's intervention. Adeleke orders APC officials to vacate local government secretariats. APC tightens grip, Swiss Yusuf Mutwang, Atiku's son in widening realignment. 15 million Nigerians consume illicit substances, Marwa declares. Soludo orders 1 week closure of Onitsha main market over sit at home. And beneath the masthead of The Guardian, Defense Headquarters to court-martial indicted officials in coup plot. Don't let 2027 politics undermine governance, CISLAC warns National Assembly. And lastly, on the cover of The Guardian, tax laws, NEFGA demands probe sanctions over alleged alterations. That news continues on page 3 of The Guardian newspaper. It's also on that note we bring to a close the review of front headline stories on The Guardian this Tuesday. For more, log into the website of The Guardian, www.guardian.ng. Well, viewers, on that note, we conclude today's Inside Nigeria, brought to you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles, and don't also forget to log into our website, www.leadership.ng, for more stories. Thanks for joining me.